January 1st, 1981, Diane Brown, aka Diane Heinzer, telephoned a friend and said that she had been picked up while hitchhiking and was in Pomona with a couple of guys. Diane was never seen or heard from again. On January 18th, 1981, Diane's legs were found in a trash bag near Summit Avenue and East Avenue in Rancho Cucamonga. On January 26th, Diane's torso was found in a similar trash bag in the South Chino area. On February 28th, Diane's head was found about 1/3 of a mile from where her legs were found. This is from the cold case flyer provided by San Bernadino Sheriff Coroner Office. So who was Diane? From what a schoolmate says, Diane lived a difficult life. Her stepfather allegedly beat all the children with a belt, all of them except the youngest, which was actually his child. They often had bruises and welts that were visible on their backs and legs. The schoolmate also states that the teacher called social services, but they didn't bother to show up for weeks, and by the time they did show up, the bruises were gone. So, allegedly, she ran away often, hooked up with strangers, and did drugs, according to Organic Mechanic on Reddit. And I'm not really sure how true this is. On Web Sleuths, someone mentions that she knows her brother and that they were a lovely family. She had a twin sister that was deeply affected by this, and the story that they got from them was a little bit different, but not much. Then she doesn't explain what story she was told, how it was different, and it kind of contradicts what Organic Mechanics said. On Web Sleuths, there is a comment from her boyfriend at the time, supposedly. He says, I was her boyfriend at the time. Diane and I had gotten into an argument on the way home from a New Year's Eve party in the San Fernando Valley. She wanted me to give her a ride to her sister's house. We had been drinking, and I didn't want to drive anymore that night, so I refused. We parked the car, and she took off, walking towards the freeway on-ramp. I figured she'd change her mind and walk back home shortly, but that was the last time I ever saw her. After a couple of days, Diane's twin sister had called me and asked if I had heard from her. I told her that I had not. I told the sister that I figured Diane was with her and was still mad at me for not giving her a ride, and that's why she had not called me. That's when we knew something was wrong. I was questioned by San Bernardino Sheriff homicide detectives numerous times. I volunteered to go to the San Bernardino Sheriff's headquarters and take polygraph tests, and passed. The same thread, he says, it truly saddens me that whoever is responsible for this horrendous act has never been brought to justice for this crime. I think that this is a weird thing to say, because the way it's said, like, what do you mean? That's like saying, I'm upset because the Zodiac was never brought to justice for his crimes, instead of saying, oh, I'm upset the victims of the Zodiac killer never got justice. I could be reading into it too much, but it's almost like he's showing sympathy for whoever murdered her instead of sympathy for her. So maybe he just meant that he was upset Diane and her family never got justice? I don't know. I think it's a little weird. He also states, looking back on it now, after all I've learned, it was a bit naive of me to take that test. If for some reason I wouldn't have passed that polygraph, everything would be completely different. I was 21 years old at the time and was unaware of how the judicial system works. If the phone call was speculation, the San Bernardino police or the sheriff's department would not have posted that information. I think that really happened. I think because she was angry with her boyfriend, she hitched a ride with some dudes. It was New Year's Eve. They would have gotten on the I-22 East, ended up getting on the California 57 North to Pomona, where then she called her friend to tell her, I'm with a few guys in Pomona, and maybe she told her that so she could inform her boyfriend to make him mad. Who knows? And that's it. There's no other information online. So anyone with information can reach out to the Sheriff Homicide Detail at 909-387-3589. If you want to stay anonymous, you can call WeTip at 1-800-78-CRIMES.